We bring to you Dallas Cowboys Executive Vice President Stephen Jones. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, guys.
What were your thoughts on maybe the offensive line in general yesterday, but specifically the right tackle and left tackle? It feels like it's just about impossible to win a game when you're giving up that many pressures.
Well, first of all, you got to start by giving Coach Flores a lot of credit. I mean, he's known for his exotic pressures, and, he does a great job with that. And we didn't have great answers for it as the night proceeded. And, we had to settle for a lot of field goals. And unfortunately, we've been putting a lot of pressure on Aubrey this year. And, everybody you're going to miss every now and then, unfortunately, is one of those nights. But I still don't know if that gets the job done. And, obviously, we got work to do there. We've been missing Guyton. Need to get him back, and we've just got to keep progressing. I like our group that's coaching them up there in the offensive line, but, we've got to continue to get better.
You talked about the exotic pressures that Brian Flores is known for, and you're absolutely right about that. I have to admit I was surprised by the lack of pressure from the Cowboys and maybe the lack of blitzing, especially since it was so effective early with that interception. What did you think about the blitzes and pressures that the Cowboys defense put on yesterday?
Well, obviously we didn't get a lot of pressure on him, and he was able to make plays, and we've got to continue to look for better ways to do it. I mean, we're, giving up a lot of points, and you are what Coach Parcells used to say, you are what you are, and we rank at the bottom of the league in terms of our defense. And, it's obviously something that we're not at all satisfied with, and something we've got to continue to chop wood and get better. I mean, we're not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, so we've got to, even if we were, we'd go to work each day and get better. And, not only is this about this year, but it's about seeing what we're going to be about in the future.
Stephen, do you drive a monster truck? Because it sounds awesome on this side.
Yeah, I do. I drive an F-150. I wouldn't call it a monster truck, but it's an F-150.
I love it.
I was kind of curious, Stephen. Do you feel like the defensive coordinator has all the tools he needs at his disposal, or do you think he could still use some more for this defense to be more overtly effective?
Hey, this will obviously be something that we evaluate in the off season. At this. So, we've gotten better, from a personnel standpoint, and thought we were really turning a corner. Obviously, we played a really good offensive football team in Detroit, and that was tough. But to have 10 days, and it's not just the defense, it's offense and special teams, to have 10 days to get prepared, play a home game against Minnesota. We're certainly not satisfied with, how we played that game. And, I think Coach Schottenheimer said it best. It's from the top down. That includes starting at the very top with Jerry and myself and Will and our coaching staff and our players. We just, to have 10 days to get prepared, we didn't do a good job.
What would you say to the critics who say at the very top with you and Jerry that there are no consequences to failures?
Yeah, I mean, we've got to continue to work at it, and there are consequences because we pay in our own ways, and I understand that. Obviously, an interesting dynamic in terms of the fact that we own the team and we're involved, but we think overall that's been a good thing, and we'll continue to be involved and work to get this thing right and ultimately get to what our team to where we want it to be.
Now, Stephen, when things are down, like after a game like last night, and as you were saying just moments ago, the chances are pretty slim at this point. 1% is what we keep seeing. When things are like this, what do you look for in individual players' character?
I think you see a lot. I mean, I think I was listening to Dak last night in his post game, and we're all professionals, and Dak said it best. He's a professional football player. He holds himself to a high standard to go to work and get better every day, and he expects the same from his teammates. And this is when you find out a lot about about players, about your team, and as I said, it's not just about this year; it's about our future, and that's something we'll evaluate as as we finish up the season here. As we move toward the end of the season, we'll find out a lot about our guys and who we want to go forward with.
One of the guys who continues to say that he wants to be out there but has not is Trayvon Diggs. Is it more a physical or mental thing that is still keeping him off the field for y'all?
It's full body of work. At the end of the day, you've got a Coach Schottenheimer and his staff hold each player to a standard, and it's a little bit of everything. I know Trayvon's a competitor. All players want to be ready to play and go and push and go above and beyond, and I know he feels that way, and that's not surprising. But at the same time, we have to evaluate the full week, and we'll do that again this week and make a decision.
Do you think we'll see him before the season's over?
Like I said, we'll look at this full week of work, and we have this week to make the decision. And if we don't move him up this week, then that's the end of his window, and he would be down for the year if we don't move him up.
Is there ever a situation where concerns about contracts come into play with somebody like Trayvon Diggs, where, for example, if he went back out there and got hurt, then it would be significantly more difficult to move away from him in the offseason?
No, Trayvon's under contract. That's not come into play at all in terms of what we're looking at. We're trying to win football games. We've been in the mix, and we want to win football games.
Stephen, Micah was confirmed tore his ACL, and I was just kind of curious, even though the team traded him away, in the NFL, you got to hate seeing something like that happen to players like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's we can't talk about other teams' players, but we can say that you don't want that to happen to anybody. And we think a lot of Micah and hate that, just sick that happened to him. And, you always hate to see a player get injured and be out for the rest of the year, and certainly as he moves forward.
Also, how is it an uncomfortable place to know that you have to have Philadelphia do a number of bad things in order for you guys to really make something happen here?
That's unfortunately we put ourselves in this position, so we have to deal with that. And but at the same time, it's not impossible, and that's why we're going to go to work this week. I know Coach Schottenheimer will. I know we felt like we had a great week of practice last week and felt like we were prepared, but it didn't translate to the game. I know we'll expect the same thing this week again, and we'll go out and go to work. We play a really good Charger football team. I know they'll give us a great, they'll be a great challenge for us. But at the same time, as I said earlier, we're going to be evaluating everything in terms of how we proceed and how people play and what we're able to do as a team as we move down the home stretch here.
One of the things we saw in the inactives again yesterday was Jalen Tolbert. Can you walk us through it all? What's happened to Jalen Tolbert's role on this team?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, you're trying to find the right complement of a group. And certainly at that receiver group, Flournoy has really stepped up for us and, really playing well. Thought he was playing well last night. And then you're looking for something complimentary. And obviously Mingo has, he's a big physical wide receiver that brings some things in the blocking and the running game as well as special teams. And just felt like, he deserves the opportunity here to fill that number 5 role.
I've always been curious about this. I don't know if we've ever asked you, how do you process, whether it's as a team executive or just as a fan of the Cowboys, how do you process a loss like that last night? Because obviously anger comes out from a lot of the fan base. How do you process those kinds of losses?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's frustrating. It's not, certainly not something, that you like to have to process, but you have to, and then you've got to, at some point it's like anything, you don't move on from it because you want to, you have to learn from every frustrating or every disappointment. But at the same time, you got to move forward, and we've got to improve. We've got to learn from this, and we've got to continue to hold ourselves to a better standard so that we can change the narrative.
When you guys traded for Quinnen Williams, was interception machine part of the idea of what you were going to get from him?
Well, what a great play by Dono and a great play by him. And no, I don't think you expect your defensive tackles to be getting interceptions, but certainly he made a great play, and he's been a great addition and got a great future with us.
Is it, in fact, as we heard, injury updates that you get on that walkie-talkie up in the suite?
Yeah, I mean, we also have updates from around the stadium in terms of, anything that's, really important that's going on. But we certainly get injury updates from the press box, when we have a guy like Javonte who had, was going through concussion protocol, we get those updates from the press box.
Now, Shoddy said something last week in one of his pressers, and I'm paraphrasing just a little bit, but, making the playoffs is obviously the first goal, but it's not necessarily. There are other things that factor into whether a season was a success or a failure. Do you view any season that doesn't end in the playoffs as a failure of a season?
I think Coach Schottenheimer said it best. I mean, whenever you have turnover in staff, that becomes a challenge. I know Mike's first year, we had a double challenge. We had COVID and we had, it was Mike's first year as a head coach. And, whenever you have turnover, there's, different challenges. It doesn't mean that you don't overcome them. I mean, people obviously get first-year coaches that go on and have great success. It's going on this year. But, the bigger thing is that we have to get our hands around where we come up short if we don't make the playoffs and don't get to where we want to get. And then what do we have to do in the off season to change that narrative? That's what's going to be important here. And we have to continue to, and know we will, look for ways to get better. We obviously made moves, during the season to do some things that I think we're going to have some players here that are going to be here for, several years to come. And then certainly we have some picks as well to help, to help that process. So, if we don't ultimately get to where we want to get, which is the playoffs and having success in the playoffs, and we feel like we put ourselves in a position with a lot of pieces in place to move forward and have success in the future.
Now, Stephen, I'm not suggesting what I say here is that your standard is low, but do you think that Schottenheimer has come in and changed the standard for everybody in the building, including yourself?
No, I think you learn from every coach that comes through the building. I know Jerry and I have, and every coach goes about it differently. Whether it was Jimmy when I was really young in my 20s, Barry obviously had a way that he went about his business. I learned a lot of things. The Bill Parcells of the world, the Jason Garrett's, the Mike McCarthy's, and of course Schottenheimer, I think, really does some unique things as well. So, you always learn from people's leadership style, and you also look for ways that, as they're making their journey in that position, that you can do the things that ultimately get us to where we want to go and get us to where our fans want to go. And, we got the greatest fans in the world, and we certainly want to, get this team in a position that we can make it to where they're loud and proud to be a Cowboys fan.
How much does it bother you? Because we've had it a couple of times this year when the opposing fan base kind of takes over the stadium.
Yeah, I mean, that's that's obviously not the way you want to draw it up. And unfortunately, there toward the end of the game, we just didn't make the plays that we needed to make to, as you might would say, send those guys home. But we're going to continue to go to work. That's one of the things that I respect most about Coach Schottenheimer is, his enthusiasm, his authenticity is real. And he'll continue to go to work and attack the situation at hand.
Appreciate the time very much, good sir. We'll catch you again next Monday.
Thank you, guys.